Rodrigo? Sí, please. Thank you so much, Guillermo, for introducing this very last panel of this afternoon. We're heading towards the end of Sondersland, but there's a lot of things happening next. We're here to talk about something very important, and we've mentioned this before throughout these past 3 days, the importance of education and also the things that we need to learn to be very ready for what's coming next, especially after the very tough pandemic that we have suffered from during this past year. I have the pleasure to be here on stage, virtually, as you know, with 4 outstanding professionals that are leading this educational revolution from different perspectives in different companies and organizations. And I would like to first start by introducing them briefly so that they can share with all of you more about themselves and what they're doing, as I said, in the respective companies. So first of all, Belén Gancedo from Microsoft, welcome on stage. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
We also have right on her left, Raúl Suárez from LinkedIn. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me here.
I also have Rodrigo Miranda from ISDI. A pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo.
And last but not least, Ibai Martinez from TEAMLABS.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you. So, Belén, if you want to start off by introducing what you do at Microsoft.
Yeah, of course. So thank you to everyone. And basically what we do in Microsoft Education is to try to empower both teachers and students to be able to deliver the most. So obviously through the use of technology, but it is not only a technology approach, but it's really, you know, a commitment with skilling and to try to provide the students with their skills to be ready for that future and to help teachers and all the community, educator community to be able to transform the way they teach as well. So it is challenging.
Absolutely.
Because we, at the end, we have, you know, both K-12, so kids at schools, vocational schools, and also universities, higher education, business schools. So it is, you know, a great scope to work together with within students, institutions, and teachers.
A very powerful vision that is more than ever before needed in today's world, especially since the educational world is changing due to the new online scenario where we're moving as society. You probably know LinkedIn as a platform where you could look for a job, but probably you don't know the entire world of opportunities it offers from a learning perspective. So if you want Raúl to share with the audience
yes,
that
definitely.
world.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's probably known for that, but people will stay for much more. Yeah, actually, our mission and vision as a company we are a company that provides the opportunity to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and more successful in their professional careers. With an ambition to create also economic opportunities for every member of the global workforce everywhere. So locally, in my case, what I do is I help that purpose in order to help the companies worldwide to develop their project branding, to take advantage of this platform to develop their message, to attract the right talent for the companies and provide that services and solutions in Spain.
Also a very powerful challenge that we have to create together, especially nowadays with all the situation we have. Rodrigo, what about ISDI? What do you do there?
Well, we are working on ISDI, especially on digital talent. That's why we renamed our brand to ISDI Digital Talent in the last month or so. So we are devoted to the mission to try to help professionals, entrepreneurs, and companies to get competences on digital skills, no matter they are regarding technical skills or soft skills that are quite close to digital behavior and digital interaction. So that's the thing that we are doing.
Preparing the next generation for what the future might hold for us, which is something that we don't really know, but we for sure need to be ready to give our best. What about TEAMLABS? What's the core purpose of that organization?
Well, we are in a way reinventing how the university works. So in our university, there is not students, there is not professors, there is not exams, there is not classrooms, but what we do is that all of our students, since the very beginning, in the first year of university, they create real companies. So they learn by doing while traveling the world. So they travel to Berlin, Helsinki, San Francisco, New York, Shanghai, Bombay. And when they end the university, they finish with a professional portfolio, right? So now we are 1,500 people around the world. We have bases in Madrid, Barcelona, and Mexico City. And around TEAMLABS, we are building an ecosystem with new companies, such as the joint venture we have built with Singular TEAMLABS to add this digitalization. Well, our ultimate mission is to make the world a radical learning lab to tackle big fucking problems in the unknown society. That's how we say it.
Big fucking problems, as he says. So, as probably you know, the way we're going back to school this year is radically different compared to any other year previous in history, but it offers a whole new world of opportunities, both for students but also for professors. What do you think in terms of transformation? How has this pandemic situation has impacted the way we learn? And do you think is it going to have a long-term, is it going to cause a long-term shift in the way we learn, in the way we educate people? Belen, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so yeah, you're absolutely right, Pablo. So this COVID-19 and this pandemic situation changed everything. So the way we live, we interact with each other, and obviously, you know, the way we learn and the way we teach. But this is something that it just started. So it is a journey, and the reason why it will take us a little bit time is because at the end it implies people. So change management, culture change, you know, this is something that it is, you know, a longer journey. But in that journey, we are not alone because we have technology. And this is basically the experience that we have, especially with the COVID-19 situation. But, you know, technology is not the goal. So it is not a matter of providing with devices and I am, you know, transformed digitally speaking. So this is not the idea, but it will be, you know, a close friend for us in this journey. And also, I think that is an opportunity. So it's an opportunity for the institutions, you know, to really transform their internal processes and also externally, so the way they can attract talent to the universities, so students, they have to change things, right? And also an opportunity for the teachers, so they have to transform probably, you know, the way they teach, you know, the format, the content, you know, and that's an opportunity as well. And for the students, you know, they have to invest in themselves, you know, with this new world, with digital skills, soft skills. So I think that, you know, the good news is that it's here with us. It just started, but, you know, we need to work a little bit.
For sure. COVID-19 has accelerated the way digital transformation was changing the way we live. But for sure, it has also caused a very powerful and deep cultural change in everything we do in society. How is ISDI somehow envisioning the future of education as one of the most important online digital business schools in the world?
Yeah, we are thinking that this is going to be fast, and both of us have been talking together about that. And for me, this is not a revolution. This is an acceleration of the same things that we were planning to do in the past. So I'm trying to be a little bit more provocative regarding maybe the previous question when we were talking about if we are prepared or if this situation is changing the way that we are learning. We hope that this is going to be the case, but my opinion that this is not. So I'm just adding maybe some information about that, talking to some of our in-company customers or some of our students, that some of them are still thinking that the old situation is gonna come back again. Okay, so maybe one question for all of you that are listening to us, and you can reply to Sondersland Twitter account, or then use the hashtag as well. if you can share how many online courses have you been following during the last 6 months, 9 months, this is going to be a good opportunity to know what is the kind of training you are pursuing. So my opinion is that we have still a long way to go. We need to change, maybe not the young people attitude, but maybe middle age, and we can say 40, 45, and you are doing a really good work from your company to try to accomplish that mission, that we need to think that online training, e-learning, and all of these new methodologies are here to stay. And that's why we are doing online training during the last 7 years. We are doing blended hybrid sessions years ago. That's the way that we need to design a new learning opportunities and experience for students.
For sure, as I said before, it's not only, and also but I mentioned that it's not a technological revolution only, but also a cultural shift that society needs to somehow introduce in the way we live and the way we do everything, so to make sure that this is not something that happens only for a couple of years, but it stays strongly within the next decade. What's the vision of LinkedIn on how the future of education will look like, especially maybe from a corporate perspective? Will companies have to change the way people in those companies learn and change the way they do things, or not?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the first thing is to realize that we have a problem. I mean, there is a gap. There is a digital gap in terms of skills, and we are feeling that in our companies, and we can see that in terms of data in our platform for sure. LinkedIn, besides that, is working to develop certain initiatives in terms of help our customers and help the companies worldwide to develop that culture inside of the company. Because the digital transformation is not only the first part of the work because it's digital, but it's about transformation. And that's about you. That's about us. That's about every single person that works worldwide, and that's something that needs to be changed in several ways. That's why we are performing such different initiatives like helping to take decisions in the companies with the economic graph. That's some of the things that we've been working in the last few years. We are digitalizing the workforce globally. We are able to set and connect the dots, actually, to develop those layers to be connected, like just we as members, also the companies that are represented there, the schools where you can learn all the documents, all the information, all the past skills, endorsements, everything that is happening. Those are layers of dots that are connected every single day. So can you imagine if you can take advantage of that data and be able to take decisions and know exactly where's the gap, what kind of companies do they need, what kind of talent is needed in certain parts of the world, how can I change and how can I lead my path and have my next opportunity. So that's the kind of information we can provide also as a company. And that's the kind of change that everyone has to move. It's not something that the companies have to do. I usually say that transformation is about you. And, you know, what are you doing now to change yourself? What are you doing to learn the new path, to be ready for the next challenges? And that's something we are pointing. It's not about companies and the world and governments and politics. That comes after, but it's about you. Have you learned in the last 6 months? Have you prepared yourself to the next change? Have you yourself been challenged for the new situation? It's not just something that's going to be happening in the company. So this is why LinkedIn takes so importance on the role of each one.
Absolutely. I mean, have you been challenged differently in the way you learned during the past 6 or 7 months? That's a good question that we all have to ask ourselves, and especially those who, in a country like Spain, that we had to go through a very tough pandemic situation where we had to stay at home for several months, which forced many of us to change many of our daily habits, one of them how we learn daily. But as many of you mentioned before, one of the main challenges that we have is not only how to transform society, but how can we actually start from the very beginning, changing the way we teach and the way the new generations are being educated at school, but not only at school, but also in university. What's the vision and what TEAMLABS in this sense think about how will university or education at a university level will change in the next decade?
Well, I think if we think in the profile of the future, we are looking for people with global mindset and adaptability to change, people who is able to collaborate with diverse people and diverse small and big scale entities, people who is able to tolerate uncertainty and being proactive, so moving without instructions, people who is able to really experiment the complexity and apply systemic thinking. Well, if we conceive universities as huge waiting rooms in which there is just a professor who is giving us knowledge and then we are vomiting through an exam, probably we will not develop those skills, right? So I imagine universities as a high-performance centers. And sometimes we think that we will have better universities if we add better and better resources. So better infrastructure, better content, better digital platforms. And I'm not sure if that's the point, you know. The high-performance centers, in the middle you need to put a lot of resilience, courage, a lot of patience, a lot of discipline. So I think that in that sense, we need to think about if we are inserting 19th century pedagogy into 21st century digital platforms, maybe we should look at it from a different perspective, right? Well, we completely believe that a great way to learn is to be an entrepreneur before you are 20 years old. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you are exposed to look to problems, finding solutions, managing operations, defending roles and functions, doing the finance, paying taxes. So that whole process is really interesting to develop
Especially
the
paying
previous
taxes,
skills, right? It's very important.
So I guess even though, Belén, we need to change the entire educational system, resources are still important, especially when it comes to technology and everything we use. Rodrigo, you wanted to say something else,
yeah,
right?
just a quick note adding to Ibai was mentioning before. So for me, it's not only a methodology issue that we are putting really well. For me, it's what we are teaching right now. So this is very important for me in terms of a university or whatever we can teach. We need to design the programs based on the companies that need those profiles that we need to put in place into the labor market. So that's why, for example, we designed an MBA that is digital MBA. So during the last three years, we have been talking to Accenture, to Bankia, to Repsol, to many other companies that need young talent to develop digital roles. So taking this into account, we designed the curriculum. So that's why we talked to Salesforce, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Google, those companies. Employers, and also enablers of the technology that those people need to learn. So I totally agree with you, but we also need to design the programs based on the need on the markets, so that we can employ our students much better and faster.
Well, as Raul mentioned before, we need to close the gap between what the world needs and what we really teach, not only at a university or school level, but also at any level with that lifelong learning experience. Just to sum it up, as probably many of you at home are wondering, after this very tough situation that we've gone through in the past months, what can I learn to be ready for the next decade? What type of opportunities do I need to take to make sure that I'm well prepared for what might come next? So I would like to ask all of you to share with the audience those 2-3 skills that you think are the most important for the next 5-10 years, so that they can get ready for all those challenges, but also opportunities. Let's start with you, Raul, if you want.
Okay. Well, I'll start with the data point on that. Do you know which been the most successful learning course that we've had in LinkedIn Learning in the last few months? It's been during the pandemic. It's been active listening. Active listening. This is something you could be surprised. We could be thinking about artificial intelligence, or maybe any other cool new thing, brand new thing. But it was just active listening. And that's one of the skills we weren't even thinking about months ago, when it was going to be just top of the head, because we are facing new challenges, both technically and personally. Again, we need to be in situations in which we have a video conference, in which we need to be listening and having a new scenario in which you are not looking into your faces, probably working at home in many different places, and that's what is really, really changing. So I was going to be pointing about that first data point. And the second one, as you were mentioning, Pablo, will be to learn to be able for the unknown. That's the main thing we need to be ready. We don't know about the future. There was nothing before this that will tell us that this pandemic was going to be changing. We've been in a very fast course about how it's going to be making. So just to be ready for the next chance and ready for the unknown. Forget about what you've learned before and be ready for the new things. That's probably one of the best advices.
Be ready for the unknown. That's a good point, especially after this pandemic situation that proved how we don't know what normal might look like in the future. Belén, what's your thought on this?
Well, very good point, Raúl, around the active listening. I would say that there are two main type of skills. So you have the soft skills, as my colleagues explained before. I think that they are crucial, to have flexibility and to be able to collaborate and work with your teammates and critical thinking, these kind of soft skills. This is, super key. But there is another group of skills that we need to really, put a lot of effort to try to start developing at different levels with different times, as a service, But we need really to push on that. And they are the digital skills. And there are so many. I would say that 3 for me and our critics. One is data, around data. So you have analytics, advanced analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, because at the end, this is something not for, informatics. It will be, transversal, everything in health, in the ecosystem, in our daily lives. So probably you do not need to be an engineer in artificial intelligence, but you will use it. So it's worthy, to at least a high-level view of what this is about. And another one will be cloud, and why, what is cloud, and why we are talking, always as a service and the cloud models, not only in the technical side, but also, why cloud provide us with flexibility, efficiency, cost reductions, these kind of things. So you can understand first, and then, you can go as deeply as you want. And the third group, I would say, the productivity tools around what is called the modern workplace. Why? Because at the end, with this kind of technology, you will also practice the collaborations of the skill and working in group, and so for me, I would say this could be like the main ones.
So you just heard it: data, cloud, and what's more important, how to be ready for the new workplace environment. What about the new soft skills that we need to be prepared for in this new world? Rodrigo, what's your thought on this?
I'm going to start with, this is not a soft skill. I'm taking advantage because I am a telecommunication engineer. So for me, one of the main things that you need to learn is coding. Coding, whatever you want, Python, SQL, or whatever kind of language, if you can learn it. Maybe a kind of soft skills could be storytelling. Okay, so something that you can sell in 1 minute. So remember the famous elevator pitch. So I'm going to try to challenge you. If you can send us or me or whomever we are here in this table, one tweet or one message on using Instagram, using Twitter, using LinkedIn, of course, using Teams, of course, as well, TikTok, whatever. So any platform that you can find us, send us in 30 days the thing that you have learned or you are applying during this chat that we are having today. Okay, this is the best way that we can see is something that we can say to you. You are applying that, so you can tell us, okay, I was doing this course, or look, this is 1 minute of elevator pitch 30 days ago, and this is now my elevator pitch. So we can see that these kind of things that we are telling to you are having impacts. And the last thing for me is you could be a kind of employee as a service. So for me, this concept is close to, there is a lot of task markets that you can put your profile and you can bid and apply for any kind of job overall the world. So mainly the things that you can do are simple tasks that can be done in 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe 1 day, and your workforce can be, and your talent can be useful for any company outside the world. So look for those kind of platforms that you can work right now from here, from your house, in the same way that you are listening this amazing conference during the last 3 days, and you can be paid for that. So for me, this is the last challenge that I would like to put you in the table.
Life is about challenges, and as you can see, Rodrigo knows how to do that. And last but not least, how will you mentioned that before, Ibai, how the university education will change within the next decade, but what type of skills do you think universities, maybe not today's ones, but universities in the future will need to teach the new generations of students?
Well, I will say two, to make it simple. First one is applying continuous learning by doing to open new imaginaries. I think that when we are able to open new imaginaries as people, then we are ready to transform ourselves and transform around us, right? So that's first. And second is teamwork and team learn. So this is seems very simple, but it is not simple to teamwork and team learn, right? So the teams are also like alive entities that need to develop a set of practice, daily practice, and a mindset to really learn and challenge themselves, right? So that's something that needs to be, the university needs to be designed to incentivize that practice and that mindset that can shift the world, that will create a common thought to build consensus to really tackle these huge problems we have in the world, right? So I would say those two.
So thank you so much to the four of you, Raúl, Belén, Ibai, Rodrigo, for being here with us. It's a great pleasure to have four outstanding organizations that are really pushing forward this new educational world. And for sure, as probably many of you are wondering at home, we might not know what the future will hold for us, but what we know is that we need to be ready. So it's not how much you know, but how much you're willing to learn next. So thank you so much for being here, and let's move on to the next panel. Thank you.